Hello, welcome to First Thoughts. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre,
Caleb.
and today we're discussing what is probably going to be considered the worst film of the year, Madam Web, the latest attempt by Sony to make a Spider-Man franchise without Spider-Man, something that has not worked out well for them in recent years, yet they still continue to try to do it. Uh, did anybody expect this to work? I think we all, from the second this was announced, even were like, oh, this is going to suck. And then the trailer came out and we were like, yep, we were right. This is going to suck. And then we saw it, and wouldn't you know it, it sucked. So, yeah. What do you think was the problem here?
Sony just acting like children and just not letting the MCU have Spider-Man completely and being adamant that they have at least some stake in this so they can turn out like the most god-awful versions of these characters that exist in the very extensive now gallery that is Spider-Man in the comics. And instead of doing something cool with a character that really is I think a pretty not an old creation, I believe, in Spider-Man lore. I think she's relatively newer. Madam Web, I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But you found the most uninteresting thing to do with her in this. And like, I get it. You weren't going to go for the old blind lady at first, like she is in the comics. Understandable.
Mhm.
But you still didn't find anything interesting to do with this. Like, I I don't understand Sony. Like I am determined that the Venom films are only working because of Tom Hardy, not Sony, because everything else these fucks do is bad.
Well, all right. So first off, Madam Web first debuted in The Amazing Spider-Man number 210 in November of 1980. So she's been around
Okay.
for a while, but not golden age. And she's basically this interdimensional psychic blind lady who lives in a web who tells Spider-Man that he's special. That's what I've gathered from the animated series, which was my only real conduit for knowing who Madam Web was prior to this movie. Uh, not once did I think, oh, I'd love to see her movie. How did she become the web lady in the chair? Uh, it just doesn't seem worth. I mean, yeah, put the character in a movie, but a full movie about her just does not seem like it makes sense. One thing I just don't understand with Sony's tenure of Spider-Man. So taking it all the way back, Sony produced the Raimi films and the Mark Webb films, which have their fans. I love the Raimi films. They're amazing. Some of my favorite comic book movies ever made. The Webb films are they grow on you, especially the first one, The Amazing Spider-Man, I think is better than people remember it. And then the second one's not great, but they were watchable. I don't understand why Sony like I get wanting to make movies out of a roster of characters that you own the rights to. Go ahead. Do whatever you want with it. It's your product, you own them.
Mm.
Why do you have to fuck it up every time? Why do they have to make them bad? Why are they like going out of their way to make these movies like super shitty and not put any effort into actually trying to make these memorable films? I don't get why they keep doing that.
Because now,
This is the fourth strike if you count both Venoms as not great, which a lot of people don't. So we'll talk about those in a minute. But like, why do you think they just won't fucking try?
it's because they don't care. Yeah, remember when they did the Raimi, which, like a lot of people, I love the first two Raimi films a lot. Third one's okay. Um, but I like, when they made those and even the two Mark Webb ones, they made those when they weren't having this weird beef with Disney and the rights to Spider-Man. They were just working on making a good product. Now, I think the difference is they have this stupid ass beef with them because they don't want to rent out the characters. They had to get like, from what I understand, the rumors were true. They had to get like forced by higher ups to make a deal to have Disney at least have rental rights to the character for the MCU. And they don't even like that. Like I think that's the difference is now they don't care because they're so pissed off that they even have to give up some of it to Disney. And they want to do their thing with it, but they're not even trying. They're so I think they're just so consumed by their own just petty squabbles now with this deal that they're not trying with these movies.
See, what I don't get is that all they got to do is sit back and just shut the fuck up and let Marvel make an awesome Spider-Man movie, and they get a hefty paycheck, which is what this is all about. So why bother being petty? Just let Marvel run the fucking race and collect the medal. Like, why do you care?
Yeah, because like they don't have to worry about getting bought out like Disney did with Fox just to get X-Men back. Because it's Sony, like they're not just a movie company. They got the PlayStation, they got TVs, PlayStation, all this other shit they
Yeah.
do. So they're not worried about getting bought out. So it's almost like they know that they can do this and Disney can't do shit because they're like, well, you can't buy us because we're not just a movie studio. So fuck you. We're gonna do what we want with this. And you can't say a word. Haha.
It does feel like that. It feels like, the petty little annoying kid at the playground who like smacks you and runs. That's what this is all about. It's very weird.
It is. And I the only reason I think it's just serious because it'd be one thing if like, all right, like Morbius and do good, they try to course correct and fix it. As what we are at least trying we are seeing with the DC with James Gunn, and to an extent, Disney is trying but failing miserably, it seems, with them too. Like they are like going, okay, this shit's not working. What do we need to do? It would then I'd be more like, okay, they just fucked up and they got to figure it out. But that doesn't seem to be happening like at all with Sony. They just keep trucking along, making incredibly bad phones with no care in the world. So that's what it's starting to feel like. Like they're just being petty and saying, who gives a shit? They can't do anything to us. We can just keep pumping these out. Don't give a shit.
Now, you know what? You know what happened? The problem was Venom was a hit. If Venom had tanked, I think they would have gone to Marvel with a little bit more humility and been more willing to play ball. But Venom was an $800 million hit, not because of them or because of really the quality of the film. It was really Tom Hardy who sold that fucker. And
Mhm.
same with the sequel. Admittedly, Venom and Venom Let There Be Carnage are not great movies, but
Well,
Tom Hardy makes them fun.
I've always stood by the fact that neither film is good. I do think Let There Be Carnage is better than the first Venom and better than most people say it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't. I've always told people I'm like they're not good movies, but Tom Hardy fucking sells those movies hard
Yeah.
both times to make them enjoyable. Whereas I need them to stop thinking Jared Leto's going to sell a fucking movie in a superhero film because the guy sucks. Um,
Well, you saw with Morbius just how out of touch they were. First there was the initial run, which did not last, and then them mistaking memes mocking the movie for fan interest that they thought they could capitalize on, then re-released it to another failure. So Morbius might be the only movie in history to fail at the box office twice. And now with Madam Web, they're trying to replicate Venom's success, but they don't understand why that movie was a hit. Jared Leto and Dakota Johnson are not very charismatic. I'm sorry, but they're not. They're
they're
not
not.
Tom Hardy charismatic. That's for goddamn sure.
No, I was like, I'm about to say you got Tom Hardy who's charismatic and actually likable off screen.
Yeah.
Jared Leto's a raging asshole that leads a cult, apparently. Um, so no one gives a shit about him, and he's just his method acting has consistently proven. I'm determined now that Requiem for a Dream was a fucking fluke with that guy. Um, and Dallas Buyers Club. He just had two flukes. Um, because he sucks the fucking charisma out of this goddamn screening time he's on screen. Um, so he sucks to watch on screen. He's a raging asshole in real life. And then Dakota Johnson, I've never really liked her persona off screen. She seems very awkward and on like a quirky, fun way. Just like she hates being famous. But I'm like, well,
Well, here's the thing. If you look through her career, her biggest stuff has been like really bad movies that she's been forced to promote. I mean, she pretty much like exploded onto the scene with the 50 Shades trilogy, which I have not watched because I have no need to. And I've heard are really bad, dumbass movies that she had to promote so hard because that's the job. And now with Madam Web, she had to do it again. So I get why she's not very enthusiastic about this whole thing.
Yeah, but one thing I will say is when you do an interview, and I get that, like it was very obvious in the press tour, which this was the strangest press junket I've ever seen for a film, where she was very uncomfortable throughout it. She You could tell she had no actual nice thing to say about this movie. What gets me, and the reason I say she doesn't seem likable off screen, is not because of that. It's two things. It's one, the three other actresses, Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Mersad, I think is how you say the last name.
Hmm.
And oh fuck, the last one that of course I'm mind blanking on.
Celeste
And
Celeste O'Connor.
thank you, Celeste O'Connor. Um, they all confirmed like she didn't talk to them outside of the movie. Like she didn't interact with them outside of the fucking essentially doing their scenes. Like those three talked and had a bond that to me kind of at least somewhat showed on screen. There was no like discussion or anything. They talked about that. Like they would text her and she would leave them on like red. Like so I'm like, oh, that okay. And then she did an interview where they're like, can you name like the three Spider-Man films in the MCU? And she couldn't fucking name them. And I'm like, I get and I look, I get it's like I always say, this stuff isn't for everyone. And I get sometimes people just aren't like that. But when you're an actress going through the press junket for a film that's kind of tied to that stuff, at least do your research beforehand.
It always bothers me when I learn that we do more research for this show than people do for like industry movies that they're a part of. Like, if you're going to play a comic book character, understand the character, learn about their history, watch the associated films that the character's connected to. Like, that's not a lot of effort. It's basic research. And
Yeah.
also just, if you're in a piece of shit, own it. Just accept, whatever. This is another bump in the road. I think about like Halle Berry with Catwoman. Like she knew that sucked. She knew this was going to be a disaster, so she just owned it, went with it, accepted the Razzie with gusto, and just tried to move past it.
Yeah. She just moved on. So that's what I say. That's my thing with Dakota. It's other stuff I get, but those were the two things that made me kind of go like, I don't think she's a very nice person outside of the movies. Because
And
like
that's
I just
that's unfortunate, but I think you're right.
yeah, because I don't the vibes are just off of me when you can't name like the three MCU Spider-Man films and you're in a fucking superhero film connected to that character. And then like, don't talk to your female co-stars. You're not hiding the fact that you didn't fucking talk to them. That doesn't just that I don't know, that doesn't come off right to me.
I also find it interesting that she, according to IMDb trivia, she dropped her representation and hired new representation after getting involved with this movie because I guess the script she signed up for was considerably different and way more exciting, and over time morphed into this god awful retread of tropes that is going to basically be buried forever. And honestly, might I don't know if she, I don't know if she's strong enough to come back from this.
I don't think she is. And I know if anyone was wondering why her last name possibly sounds familiar, it's because she's the daughter of Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith. Um, so it's like I don't know. Like even if she doesn't bounce back for this, I'm not particularly concerned because she comes from wealth. She will stay wealthy until the day she dies. So why do I give a shit if she can bounce back?
I'm sure she'll be in more movies. Like this isn't the end of her career, but I think this is the end of her as a blockbuster actress.
Yeah, which honestly is fine because I feel like she just is not picking good and like I've heard her performance in 50 Shades isn't that great, so it's like either you're just not interested in these films you pick, or you're not that good of an actress. It's one of the two.
I'm more than happy to see Sydney Sweeney, Isabel Merced, and Celeste O'Connor like do something because they were the best part of this movie. They were actually trying to do something with what they had, and
Yeah,
I say let them have fun, exciting careers.
Yeah, and that's what you should do because that's again, that's what I always kind of come back to is like I get it, acting is a job at the end of the day. And unfortunately, you pick things to pay the bills, even if they're not always good. And but at least like just try. Like just put in an effort. Because at the end of the day, like you said, the three that stood out were those three, because at least they tried, they did their best. They weren't awkward during the press junket. Because dude, the amount of interviews I watched were like, I think they tried to, one interviewer asked Dakota Johnson about the whole like line that got memed to death when the trailer came out.
Yeah.
And yeah, the whole like, she died in the whatever,
Here,
or he
I
killed
have
her.
I have the line right here. That man is Ezekiel Sims. He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died. That's called
Man,
clunky dialogue.
yeah, man, you delivered it just like she did. Nice.
I know, but her deliver like my delivery was not nearly as exciting and vibrant as hers.
Mm, sure. Um, but like I guess they asked her about the line and she like I think she was trying to like move away from the question, but she did in the most awkward way possible. And I'm like, oh dear God, this is just painful to watch now. It's like she was trying to act like oblivious to it. And it was like, this is more painful than it should be. Can we please move on? Whereas those three, I saw a lot of their interview stuff, and they were still just staying, as positive as they could be and, happy and stuff. I'm like, see, that's how you do it. They probably know they're in a piece of shit, but they're doing their best to make these interviews fun.
Yeah. That's the time to be in a piece of shit when your career is kind of just starting out and you're, you know, just kind of doing what you can. The point is, the best thing you can do is be good in those pieces of shit and people will forget that you were in a bad movie.
Yes, yes, that's usually how it works.
Yeah. If I could, I would love to read for you my review of Madam Web on Letterboxd because I feel like whatever I say about this movie is not going to be as coherent or patient as what I wrote here.
I'll allow it only if you told me on one condition. Have
Yeah.
you read my review?
I yes, I have. I have read your review. I read it the day before I saw the movie, and I gotta say, I was like, yeah, that made sense to me. It was like I was on my way to see Bob Marley One Love, which was actually pretty good. I enjoyed that one.
Mhm.
And I saw your review, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that tracks.
That's right. Okay, now that you stroked my ego and you may read yours.
Okay, so this is from Letterboxd. Although, by the way, 1.7 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
My God.
That is that's embarrassing. So Sony's tenure of Spider-Man and his associated characters is akin to that of an abusive parent at this point. They know the character deserves to be with Marvel, as does every other Spider associate, and instead of working out a co-parenting situation like adults where everyone gets what they want, they consistently go scorched earth just because they fucking can, giving us movies like Morbius, Venom, which was good but only because Tom Hardy knew what he signed up for, and now the worst of the bunch, Madam Web. Meet Cassandra Webb. She's an EMT whose mother was in the Amazon researching spiders right before she died. That's never going away. They'll constantly remind you of that too. She drowns one day and is revived. Now she has the power to see the future. She sees that 3 teenage girls are going to be murdered by a guy with the most inconsistent, ridiculous motivations ever, Ezekiel Sims. Yeah, what was this guy's point? Like, why did he
Is
want the
he
spider? What was he after? Like, not
can I ask,
yeah.
was he a made up villain for this movie?
No, he's a real comic book character, Ezekiel
Son,
Sims. Yeah.
son of a bitch. I was gonna be like, if we're doing the Shazam 2 shit again, there's a reason they have a fucking source material to work with. God damn it.
Ezekiel Sims first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2, number 30 in 2001. He's a rich businessman, aspires to be a hero, uses animal totems, also goes by the name Zeke. Uh, yeah, he's kind of just, there's no real point in making him the bad. He's kind of not really a bad guy. I don't know. I don't know a lot about Marvel's recent characters, but I know this guy is not what he was represented as in this movie.
Okay, fair enough then.
Uh, Ezekiel Sims. So she saves them and Sims hunts them down. That's the whole movie. Not once is there a justification for why we're getting a movie about the weird interdimensional blind lady in the spider chair that tells Spider-Man he's special. Also, just name drop Peter Parker. We all know who that is. Why are you acting like this is season one of Smallville? That really bothered me. And they just kept dancing around it. We know that's Peter Parker. Just say the fucking name.
It pissed me off so much. I'm like, either just fucking take this element of the movie out, you assholes, or fucking say his name.
Yeah. Final paragraph. Please just stop. Shelve Craven the Hunter and just let Marvel have full custody. They'll still get the check, which is all Sony actually wants anyway. There has to be a way where everybody wins here. It feels like we, the audience, always lose when Sony drops $80 million on a movie they know nobody wants to see. They could have made a Spider-Woman movie and actually put some effort into it. Instead, they shit the bed again. I can't wait to see which minor Spider-Man related character gets the full shitty movie treatment next. There.
Yeah, that's pretty apt.
Yeah. $80 million. And it made it made 12. So there you go. Bob Marley destroyed it at the box office this weekend.
As you know what, I don't even bother Bob Marley because you know my whole stance with the overabundance of music biopics we've been getting.
At least this one. In this one, there were no like he didn't go through a drug thing. There was no like, you know, moment where he like loses everything and comes back for the big show at the end. That didn't happen.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, there was a big show at the end, but it was different circumstances.
God damn it.
It was a good movie, damn it. Ah, okay. Continue.
Okay. Fuck. You had me and then you lost me at that point. God damn it. A big show. Yeah, no, that's look, I know we're about to go through this movie, but that's apt. Like this, I don't it's amazing because if you look at my letterbox, I just watched the movie we're doing for the show, Snowpiercer, right before we recorded,
Mhm.
which I gave 4 stars. Fucking that movie slaps
Yeah,
still.
it does.
And but it's right next to Madam Web, which I gave 1 star. And I really, really despise. And look, let me put this out there. And I'm saying this because I know some, people have refrained from fucking reviewing it because I did a movie and I know how hard it is to make a movie and blah, 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 blah. I understand how hard it is to make a film. I will still talk shit. Okay? Okay, I don't care. I don't care. If I
I've
don't like the movie, I'm going to talk about it.
I've written 3 novels. That does not mean that I am no longer allowed to talk about terrible books I've read because I understand how hard it is to write a book. It is hard to write a book. It's even harder to write a good book. And you should strive to want to do that. You should strive to want to make a good movie. I've seen thousands of good movies. It is possible. So I think just because you make a bad movie does not mean that you are like immune from criticism by other filmmakers. If anything, I think they should go harder on people who make bad movies.
Yeah, and look, I know the person who directed this was her directorial debut. Do better.
I don't blame her
Do better.
entirely. There is some blame to go there. You made it. But also, you tell me there's no like the suits were involved. They were
Oh,
breathing down her
Sony
neck.
was
Yeah.
Yeah, Sony was involved every step of the damn way. I mostly blame Sony. So I think, and that's the thing, like that's what gets annoying. Like I'm like, no, you can still talk negatively about this film, but know where you're directing it. What I don't like is when we direct things that they easily blame people, like the director, like the writers, the actors, people you tend to kind of see their names pop up first on the screen. Because it's not always their fault. Yes, there's sometimes like yes, there is some directing choices I do blame her on that I don't think were good.
At,
And
as
and there
long as long as SJ Clarkson does not come out next year and be like, well, the movie that I made was fantastic. And hopefully one day people will
oh
get to see that. As long as she doesn't pull a
Jesus.
David Ayer, I'm okay with whatever she does next.
Yeah, yeah, and exactly. I'm going to give this person a shot. Like they might wow me with their next film because they might have a much better time making their next film if it's not with Sony and a superhero film. Um, but then like writing, okay, I'm putting some blame on the writer here because the script sucks ass. Um,
Yeah.
the dialogue is atrocious.
Oh shit, real
Um,
quick. SJ Clarkson directed one of the best episodes in the entire run of Dexter. So my blame for her just went a little bit less.
Yeah, and but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not playing. Most of my blame basically is going towards Sony. Like, most of my blame is going towards Sony for clearly micromanaging the living shit out of this movie.
This movie also had 4 writers. Good rule of thumb: if a movie has more than like 3 at the max, it's probably gonna suck.
Yes, because usually the first name you see is the guy who gave us like the first draft. That was probably a really awesome draft.
Yeah.
And then anything past that starts to become people that like were hired to essentially rewrite the script and possibly have to do all the studio notes, and it just becomes more and more of a mess from there.
Well, from what I read, the original treatment that Dakota Johnson signed up for, which, yeah, if I was an actress being pitched this movie, yeah, I'd sign up for it. The original plot involved Ezekiel Sims traveling from the future to kill Mary Parker, who was about to give birth to Peter Parker because he wanted Spider-Man dead. So it was like a Terminator style movie with uh, the 3 Spider Women and Madam Web joining forces to protect Mary Parker and stop Sims from killing him or killing her for to kill Peter. Like he had motivation. There was a plot. It made sense why they were all together. Like that would have that might have might not have been great, but it would have worked.
It would have made for a more interesting movie. Like
Yes.
that would have I would have been more down for that, and you still have gotten away with having a fucking version of Spider-Man, which makes sense with the rumors of them having to they were going to pick between which either Sam Raimi's or Mark Webb Spider-Man they were going to use apparently. Um
Here's my big question. So since we've established with Marvel and all this like and the Sony stuff that the multiverse is real and it exists and they can do anything, why can't they just have their Spider-Man and just do that? Do Miles Morales or Ben Riley or one of the many other characters to have worn that
dude,
mask?
I don't know why they won't do that because I think Sony can only use Peter Parker if I'm correct. So they have the authorization to use the other ones. They could get a leg up if they just did a good Miles Morales movie, because I would argue that in more recent years, Miles Morales has become more popular than Peter
Yeah,
Parker in more recent years.
both the Spider-Verse movies have been fucking fantastic and huge box office hits. So
Yeah,
you've got
Spider
that.
and
Those were
uh,
Sony spearheaded, so you can do it. You just
yeah,
won't.
and on the video game side of things, look at Spider-Man Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2, like, and the fact that those developers for those games, Insomniac, have publicly stated that moving forward, Miles Morales is their Spider-Man. That like yeah, like the tide is turning. People want Miles is becoming a much more popular take on the character, and for good reasons. He's a great fucking incarnation of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That why not just do a live action, and then they could still have this universe be Spider-Man, still use Venom, still use all these characters. The only difference it would be that it's Miles Morales instead of Peter Parker. I doubt anyone's going to give a shit. If anything, it's be insanely popular.
Yeah. All the pieces are there for them to easily do this right. They just are consistently choosing not to. And it's out of petty jealousy. It's so bizarre and not a way to run a studio.
Yeah, and then like and they're driven by fucking financial means because there's been the rumors that there's a lot of trauma going on behind the scenes of MCU Spider-Man 4 because Sony is adamant about doing a big event film again and getting all 3 back together. And Kevin Feige's like, no, we did that. We're not going to do it again. Keep it grounded. That makes that less special if we keep doing it. And then the fact that there were rumors swirling that they were talking about maybe we could talk to Toby or Andrew and see if they want to come back and be the Spider-Man from Madam Web. We established them as the Spider-Man for this film. And it's like, let that go. Like, Toby and Andrew, they only agreed to do No Way Home, probably on conditions that that would be the one film they do.
Yeah.
I did not get the vibe that it was, we're going to keep doing this afterwards. It's, no, we'll come back for this because it's a very special occasion.
Yeah.
Not, hey, I'll come back for all these other. No, I doubt they have any interest in coming back, which is probably why Sony hasn't been able to move forward with these grand ideals they want. Um, that's like, why not just pick one of the other fucking incarnations of Spider-Man that would probably be just fine?
Yeah, it's frustrating. And we as, like I said, we as the audience keep dealing with the fallout of this by getting, like increasingly more terrible movies from this. I know Craven's going to suck. I have zero hope for that.
Yeah, because the other things that they're like taking these villains and trying to make them more anti-heroes. but
Yeah.
most of them are fucking well-known Spider-Man villains. Like Craven, his defining story has to do with Spider-Man. Craven's Last Hunt. It's his defining fucking story that most people associate Craven fucking with.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like. I mean, and Spider-Man 2 adapted the game, not the movie, the game adapted that storyline amazing. Yeah, that's one of the storylines in Spider-Man 2. That's not even a spoiler. That's from one of the storylines.
Still got to get there.
Um, like I don't understand. We don't need a solo film where he's going to become this fucking anti-hero and has daddy issues and oh god damn it, I don't care.
Really, I don't care either, and it's really kind of amazing. Like, you know, Madam Web takes. I doubt we're even going to talk about the plot of the movie. I really don't want to be honest. There's really nothing there to talk about.
Oh, I
I
want
kind
to
of
talk
just
about
want.
just to talk about some of the insane bad decisions.
Okay, but this film takes place in 2003. Uh, and in case you didn't, in case you were unclear on that, they drive past a Blockbuster. She tries to open a can of Pepsi Max. Like they really hammer it
Oh,
home.
they hammer it. Wait, before they do that, let's talk about this like real quick. Let's talk about when I knew I was in for a bad time.
Okay.
Let's talk about the prologue.
Fuck, all right, fuck. Let's just go into the movie. Let's do this. All right, Madam
I
Web.
can't. I as much as I want to talk about other things, like I have to just shit on this film. I no offense to creators, I know you're capable of better things, but fuck it, I'm shitting on this film. I'm nobody. I don't affect anything. No one's
We're the
coming.
audience. You're supposed to do right by us, and you keep not doing that. So you're owed a little fucking roast.
Yeah, and if you cry about it, get thicker skin.
Yes. All right,
I'm in the
continue.
military, I can say that. Um, look, so let's just start with this goddamn prologue that was the talk of the town because they wouldn't shut about it in the trailer. Um, sure enough, her mom's in the Amazon researching spiders, much like the trailers remind us every single time,
Right before she died.
right before she died. Um, where we learn because they just can't use Spider-Man of fucking spider people that honor these spiders that give you powers. And I'm not, and the moment we opened with that, my eyes just went, you gotta be shitting me. This is the film I'm in for right now. This is what I'm about to watch. Fuck me. I got 2 hours.
So Sims shoots. What was her name? Charlotte, I think.
Just no
Constance. Constance.
Constance. Wait, he does it in a scene where they do these weird zooms for no fucking reason. Was
Well,
that bugging you? It bugged me. The weird such zooms to make the scene more tense.
oh yeah, the cinematography is fucking ridiculous. He apparently has been hunting this spider for years and finally has it, and then later we just see him with it in his apartment. Like he didn't try to sell it or like what was why did he want the spider?
I don't know. But then look, okay. Also, real quick, I don't want to try. I really just want to analyze this scene for a second because
Yeah,
oh god, it's
go for it.
everything I hate. And that was before we saw like 2 or more hours of this film to go. That really exemplified everything I hated. Um, but look, they have their big moment where he somehow gets the spider that he's been looking for his life, or she gets it finally, and then he takes it. They have a shootout again. Real horrible cinematography. Where they do these weird, almost like it looked like post production zooms
Mhm.
for no reason. Don't emphasize anything. They just keep happening, and we get this moment where I see spider people come out of a tree, and one of the worst cases of CGI, watch one leap from branch to branch. And I hated every second of that. That was some awful CGI that the money did not go to.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. They couldn't get the rights to Spider-Man. Yeah, it's so weird. And they grab the pregnant dying lady and put her in like a pool of water and have the spider bite her and she dies, giving birth to Cassandra, who now has the power to see the future eventually after she dies. The logistics don't make sense.
They really don't. And I guess they thought like if the spider bites her, she'll live, but she still died.
Yeah, it was like it felt like a Blade situation, like if mom gets bit, baby has the powers of whatever got whatever bit her, but then Cassandra has no powers until she drowns and comes back, and she didn't have any spider powers, and like the most interesting man in the world tried to tell her that she got some of the spider powers, but not these other powers. It's so confusing and unnecessary.
It's so dumb. And then he, is like, when she's old enough, she'll come back. Apparently, he's the only fucking spider person in the spider people tribe.
The only one who's talking to anybody, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then then we finally like where you were at with fucking 2003 for some weird decision to not connect this to the rest of their fucking shitty universe.
I was convinced that the end of it was going to involve either Morbius or the Vulture being like, "Hey, let's team up against this Spider-Man guy," and she being like, "No, I'm a good guy," or some shit. They didn't do that. There was no post-credit scene.
There was not, and like I said, for some reason they set this film in 2003 because God bless, they're like, let's not connect it to the universe that we've been trying to shittily build up.
I love how blatant they were about the O3, like fucking Beyonce poster over here, and like just reminding us constantly, like, "Hey, you know what year it is? It's 2003,"
It's 2003.
but with no point. So in 2003, Marvel actually had three major releases, and one of them's amazing, and two of them are hated by fans. So first off, there was X2, X-Men United, possibly the best X-Men movie in the original run, and a fantastic movie. So
We're talking original trilogy. Original trilogy, yes, it is the best one.
yes, awesome, awesome film. And then you had Daredevil.
God damn it.
A lot of people despise. I like it, but only the director's cut that actually is underrated and cut very well. Coolio's in it. It's really good.
God, you contrarian sounding son of a bitch.
Watch the director's cut and then come to me. The
I'm
original
just
cut is dog shit, but the director's cut is a actually pretty well told legal thriller that is cut
I
much better.
I'm, I'm going to remember this every time you give me shit about my horror films because you sound like that person right now. Look, oh look, the theatrical cut is not where it's at, but the very rarely seen producer's cut, that's the cut you
It
have to
was
see.
released on DVD and Blu-ray. It is not hard to find.
I know, but you
It is.
sound like that person right now.
Oh my God. I'm sorry that almost every like weirdo horror movie that you've showed me has sucked. It's not my fault. It's not your
No,
fault.
you suck. They don't suck. You're the one that sucks.
The
I can't
stuff
expand your mind.
sucked. Tourist Trap sucked.
No,
Spookies sucked.
all
Sorority
three are
Babes and the
great
Slime
movies.
Bowl Bolorama sucked.
All three are great movies. You just don't get it.
I just named four movies and I'm nuts.
Yeah, all four are great movies. That's what I said. You just don't get it.
Oh my God. My point is Daredevil director's cut is I enjoy it. I don't care if anyone else likes it or not. I enjoy it.
I'm gonna make you watch so many goddamn movies for that transgression, and you're gonna watch all those until you get it.
Ugh, I don't think do you have
Yeah, bring
anything
it,
left?
bring it up again. You're gonna watch all of them until you get it.
Well, finally, there was Ang Lee's Hulk, which admittedly, yeah, that sucks. There's no director's cut on that one. That one's not good. Hulk dogs and Nick Nolte and Puffy Hulk.
It's a lot. It's a lot in one movie.
They really did shove. I like the music, but Hulk has never really been a very ethereal, kind of cerebral character. So I don't know why that's the angle Ang Lee decided to take on that.
That was a weird. I remember when I was a kid, I liked it. Then I got older, and I was like, God, this film sucks. What did I ever like about it?
I liked the video game. The PS2 video game Hulk based on the movie was pretty fun.
Yeah, I look. I will say this. I will defend the Incredible Hulk movie. I think people are way too harsh on that movie. That one's fun.
Yeah, I don't know what people like. What was their problem with that? At the time, we Hulk 2003 was like the only thing we had, and this
Yeah,
was a big step up. So I don't really. I think just retroactively, yeah, it's not as good as the Ruffalo Hulk, but you didn't know that at the time, so stop it.
yeah. I mean, yes. What if it probably aged better if they had just gone with their first choice? Because apparently Ruffalo was the first choice, and the studio was like, nah,
Mm-hmm.
do someone else that has a name,
Yeah,
which backfired because Ruffalo is the one we all like. But I still enjoy the Incredible Hulk. It has a lot of fun moments.
yeah. He actually says Hulk smash. You got Abomination. You got the leader tease. You got yeah. That movie's fun.
Yeah. It's a fun movie. I enjoy it. I'll defend it. Now the
But in,
2001, it can die. It sucks.
in '03. all Marvel fans really had in terms of good movies were the first two X-Men's, Spider-Man, and Blade 1 and 2, if you were allowed to see R-rated movies.
That's really it. And I hate that this film, as I was watching it, reminded me of those days when I'm like, man, pre-MCU, we were hurting and we got films like this constantly.
Yeah, it was like like a prospector panning for gold in a dry stream. You were happy to just get like that little fleck of gold dust. That would make your whole day. And then when the MCU happened, like we finally found a fucking vein and we were just loading gold into our wagons, and now that vein is run dry.
It has run dry. It's a desert now.
It is a desert. It is empty. It's nothing but rocks and disappointment.
And hopefully the Merc with the mouth and Hugh Jackman can bring this back.
Yeah, Madam Web feels like we went back to that stream, thought we found some more gold, but really it was a bear turd.
Yeah.
Like petrified bear turd. That's what this was.
Yeah, this oh God.
Uh
I went to this knowing it was going to suck, but with the hope that like maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe it's just really bad marketing. And then I left and went, it was the right exact type of marketing.
I gotta say, since we ended Beyond the Bed, I've been hurting for, ripping movies apart. I haven't got to do it in a while. So I was kind of looking forward to this one just so we could do that again. Because otherwise we probably would have just avoided this. Uh
Yeah.
but here we are. Um so Cassandra is now the lady, the spider water baby is Cassandra now. She's an EMT who has trouble relating to people and doesn't seem to like people, but
But she's fine. As
saves
she keeps
them.
going.
Don't really get that. Like, why would an antisocial person who hates people be an EMT?
Yeah, why would you pick that job? And for hating people, you're friends with Ben Parker because we have to shove the Parkers into this goddamn movie somehow and
It's
waste Adam Scott's talents, you bastards.
it's spiders. It's got to be if it's Spider-Man, it's got to be Parker. Uh, but yeah, Adam Scott as a young Uncle Ben is a fucking great casting idea.
It is a great casting idea, but I'm also like, it's Adam Scott. Use him more. Like the guy's great. What the
Mhm.
fuck?
Yeah, and his sister-in-law Mary, who's pregnant with a baby whose name she won't tell you because it's a big secret until it's not, and then they'll hide it because oh boy.
Yep, played by Emma Roberts, who I did not know was even in this damn movie. I just they showed her and I was like, is that Emma Roberts? I was like, that's Emma Roberts. Okay.
I'm gonna say something kind of controversial, but here we are.
Uh,
There is a series of actresses, specifically blonde actresses, who all bleed together for me, and I can't recognize them immediately. Emma Roberts is one of those actresses.
how she looked like a young Julia Roberts because
I
that's her aunt.
see. I don't follow Emma Roberts' career. I don't know what she looks like.
I only know her because of the Ryan Murphy stuff. She pops up in like American Horror Story and Scream Queens.
Uh,
He likes to use her, and I mean I think she's attractive myself. Um, but that's the only reason I know about her is that she pops up in that stuff. So when she popped up in this, I was like, oh. But it's weird because in the current season of American Horror Story, she's also playing a part where she's a pregnant woman. So I was like, this is a weird typecast to be in right now, Emma.
is
Well, you
she
just keep.
is she pregnant?
She was. She's not now. She had her baby, but she's not now. She was.
Kind of odd. Um,
Yeah, I know. I was like, this is a weird typecasting that's going on since she had her kid. I'm like, is this like a choice? What's going on here?
they also do a very hard job of not saying Aunt May either. They say Ben is seeing someone and it's getting serious, but he doesn't say her name. But all the Spider fans are like, "Oh, we get it."
Yeah, I know. I was like, okay, you can just say Aunt May, guys. God damn it. And then they make Spider-Man's dad kind of like seem like a deadbeat because he's just gone in the movie. They're like, yeah, he doesn't need me in the movie.
Yeah, Richard is just out doing having adventures with Pie. If anybody gets that reference, you're welcome. Do
Yeah, I was like, okay, well,
you,
he's not in the movie, but everyone else is.
do you get the Pie reference?
No, I didn't even notice when they said that.
No, My reference just now.
No, I
Oh
don't.
my God. The tiger in the movie Life of Pi is named Richard Parker.
I didn't watch The Life of Pi.
Oh my God, you're killing me, Smalls. Okay, anyway, yeah, he's not in the movie.
You're
He's
the,
kind of
you're the one that made a
gallivanting.
reference I didn't get. That's on you.
You need to watch more. You need to step out your comfort zone and watch more non-horror. That's what you got
I
to do.
do watch plenty of non-horror. You just assume I don't.
I've never seen you watch anything but horror or horror shows or whatever. And there's
I
nothing
watch
wrong
plenty of
with
non.
that. I'm just saying. Oh,
I
oh,
watch plenty of non-horror movies and shows. I actually have Yellowstone on the background of my TV right now because that's a really good show that you don't watch. But I don't talk about it. So
yes, you do
you,
all the time.
I do not.
Anything I don't do that you do, you are constantly on my ass about. What do you mean?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm never like that.
Okay. Madam Web. So they're saving they save a kid or they save a lady and the kid tries to give her a picture and she's like, ugh, get away from me. Which is very endearing. That's nice to do to children. Uh
Look, I get not being like a people person, but Jesus Christ, just take the goddamn thing, fake a smile, and wait till the kid's gone. You saved his life.
yeah. Ezekiel Sims, meanwhile, lives in a high-rise apartment, bangs an NSA agent to get her password. He can grab people and make them have venom attacks, which he uses exactly one time and then never comes up again.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know how he has spider power. I guess he got bit by the spider at some point
they,
and
they
kept it.
they don't explain how he got powers. They don't explain how these ladies are supposed to get powers. Like that's never explained how the hell they get
Oh,
spider powers at some point.
the trailer was crazy misleading about how much Spider Woman is actually in this movie. All three of them have one like precog scene at the beginning, and then they're just dopey teenagers the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and again, no hint as to how the hell they even get their powers to begin with.
No. However, they did try to drop a if you take the responsibility, great power will come. And I was like, are you
Dude, I
fucking kidding me?
they tried like two or three times in this movie, and I rolled my eyes every time. I was like, please stop.
uh yeah, so Sims is trying to this was the most unbelievable part for me. He steals the NSA badge, kills the NSA woman, gets somehow access to like super sensitive like surveillance technology that no one follows up on in the NSA, I guess. And he hires this one lady to just be his like woman in the chair and scan the entire damn city for these three ladies he saw in a dream. Like what? What is this? Are you kidding me? That's the best you could do?
Yeah, I was like, first off, I was like, who is this lady? I was
Yeah.
like, who is this person that we never name? I don't think he names her once.
He doesn't. I'm gonna look in the cast list and see if she has a name. I'm gonna go with probably not. Um, Amaria, but
I
I don't
that,
ever remember hearing that name. So
I don't think he once said it. And yeah, this was his whole motivation. I had a premonition that they're going to kill me, so I have to find them before they do that.
oh,
That
real quick, the actress who plays Amaria is Zoja Mamet, daughter of playwright and film director David Mamet. Kind of cool.
okay.
Glengarry Glen Ross.
Oh,
David Mamet's a big deal.
I never heard that name once in my life.
Well, he didn't make a movie about a dude slashing somebody in a fucking camp, so yeah, you wouldn't know about it.
Again, I would because I'm an actual phone buff, you son of a bitch. All right. How dare you?
How dare I? Oh, um, so uh, they're saving some guy in a car. The Cassandra Cassie falls into the Hudson, I think it is. Has like a web moment. Comes back to life after being drowned. Is totally fine. Doesn't go to the hospital or anything. And none of her friends are like, "Hey, you should do something about that." She just goes back to work like the next day. I don't know if you know this, but if you die and come back, you're allowed to take at least like 2 days.
Yeah, usually it's take some time off because you fell in a car into the water and died for like 2 3 minutes or however long he said.
Death is pretty big trauma to bounce back from, and yeah, Ben's not a great friend for just kind of letting that happen. But she starts realizing that she has flashes of like the immediate future, and she doesn't do much with it. She lets a friend die.
Yeah. until like the very end of the film, and it's like the dumbest use of a superpower I've ever seen in a film ever in my
Oh,
life.
the pre bless you sneeze
Yeah.
or the pre sneeze bless you.
Well,
I'm sick.
well, that one, and then the whole like he's running through the building. Duck, stop, now go. Like, oh God, this is lame.
Um, so yeah, she ends up in a train station where all three of the spider ladies who are connected to her already somehow. Like one's her neighbor, one's her patient stepdaughter, and the other one flipped her off once. And Sims realizes, oh, these three are the girls who are going to kill me one day, so I better go kill them first. And she sees all this happen, and then decides to save their lives. And then the cops are after her for some reason, and she steals a cab and just holds on to it for most of the movie.
Yeah, yeah, that cab was durable. I was surprised how long it lasted throughout the whole movie,
Right?
and that the cab driver wasn't more aggressive about finding her. Because cab drivers in New York are not ones you want to fuck with.
Yeah. Also, the cops could have tracked that cab. Uh, but
It's also 2003, could they?
oh, that's true. Well, I mean, the NSA can apparently analyze every face in the city in 2003. So I don't know, maybe.
Dude, it that was so like it took my mind a minute to get used to the fact that like, oh shit, all this stuff that I'm so used to now seeing in films all the time is at this point new.
Um, I'm having trouble recalling most of them, honestly. Like it's pretty okay. So the three teenagers are kind of like, well, this is weird and dumb, but you kind of saved us from Ceiling Guy, which is Ezekiel Sims in a very shitty like Spirit Halloween Spider-Man costume.
Oh, it's so bad. And I think it was like again, they're just clearly trying to insert Spider-Man so many into this without actually inserting a Spider-Man. I'm like, why does he have this suit on? What's the point of him having this fucking suit on?
Yeah.
And
Uh,
walking around barefoot, did that bug you? It bugged me.
I did at that point I was just kind of like, can we wrap this up? I was enjoying the burger I ordered and was just kind of waiting for this to to zone out. She takes the kids to the woods, and by the way, all three actresses are actually over 20 years old. They're not 15, so it was kind of weird to do that, make them
Yeah,
look like children.
especially like for those of you, I'm sure everyone's heard of the weekend about the public masturbators for Sydney Sweeney this past weekend with this film. It's really weird because like it felt like I'm gonna say, especially with Sydney Sweeney's, it was weird because it felt like her outfit and her whole demeanor was that of a sick, twisted fucking sex fantasy. I'm gonna say it. It felt like a schoolgirl fantasy. Felt like dudes wrote that and did that. It was
Yeah,
weird.
I hope I'm never bored enough to go jerk off in public, but you never know what the future holds.
Yeah, right. All right. I'm not knowing what they did. I'm just saying it did also feel like from the writer, from dudes involved with the movie, I should say. More likely the studios that Sydney Sweeney felt like it was just a schoolgirl fancy, her whole outfit and character. And I was like, this is weird. This is odd. I know she's 20 something.
Yeah.
This is weird.
If I ever run out of movies I want to watch, I guess I'm gonna have to make my own fun. So, I get it. No, it's fucked up and weird that that happened. But yeah, I do think that like the weird decision, like the skirt and like the reservedness of like her character, it was a weird way to go.
Yeah. And not like the others on site. Like Isabel Massage is showing off her midriff. But granted, that felt less because I'm like, teenagers dress like that.
Yeah,
They do it all the time.
yeah. Teenagers also just dance on tables at diners.
That was
Football
another part that
football guys all around.
yeah, that part also felt weird. I was like, okay, clearly male executives stepped in on this and thought we have some really attractive 20-something-year-old actors. We gotta make them do sexy things, even though they're playing teenagers.
Oh boy. Well, anyway, Sims keeps showing up to try to kill them. Cassie saves them every time. He starts wondering like, what the hell is going on? Why can't I kill these chicks? And
In that exact kind of delivery too. Good job.
oh, dude, what the fuck was going on with his delivery? That actor is Tahir Rahim, who plays Ezekiel Sims. He's a French actor, and for some reason, all of his dialogue is overdubbed, sped up, and thrown into the movie without matching his lip delivery. I don't know why they decided to do that. It makes him look like he got thrown out of a kung fu movie from the 70s and thrown into this one.
Yeah, again, ladies and gentlemen, here we are again, the beginning of the year. This time an $80 million film, more modestly budgeted than my previous examples from last year. But still, horrendous CGI in scenes, ADR overdubs that should not be looking this bad. I've watched a ton of like Italian fucking splatter films,
Mm.
spaghetti westerns that are dubbed better than this shit.
Yeah, it's weird. There's a scene in the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The re I think it's the director's cut. It might be like a some re-release thing, but they added in an additional scene of Eli Wallach, just kind of lamenting his situation as Tuco. They had Eli Wallach in his 90s redub the scene, and it fits more than this. I mean, we got like a 30-year-old Eli Wallach talking like a 90-year-old Eli Wallach, and I didn't, question it for a second. This time, I was like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? All you gotta do is make the voice match the lips. It's not that hard. Movies do it all the fucking time. They did it in the 30s, back when you were working
Dude,
with a soundtrack separately from the film.
yeah, dude, when I said the first time it happened, I was like, I was already kind of zoning out a little bit because I was like, God, this is awful. But then I was like, wait a minute. No, they didn't do that because I thought I was like, maybe I'm just thinking I saw it. And they cut back to his character. And then I noticed it again where he's talking, but his lips aren't moving. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. I paid money for this big budget film, and this is what the fuck? I was like, maybe this is a mistake. Maybe it's just this one scene. Then it kept happening and went, oh my God, no, no, no.
The,
And then if you notice, he barely looks at the camera when he talks. Like they make a point to make sure he's looking away for so many scenes.
the weirdest thing for me was his delivery. He sounded like the fake Mandarin in Iron Man 3 when he was doing his like war videos. Like,
Yeah, like it's like you could tell that it was like the actor was pissed he had to do ADR. He's like, "Are you serious?" So he was like, "I'm not trying for this at all."
it's oh my God, what a decision. Like what a series of decisions.
Yeah, like when he finds out that the person that first off, you think he would when he finds out it's Cassandra Rowe, the daughter to the mother he killed, he has like zero reaction to that.
Here's another thing that bothered me. Sydney Sweeney's character is named Julia Cornwall. The character she's playing is supposed to be Julia Carpenter, Spider Woman. So like, why do that? Why? Come on, just use
Yeah,
the
why not?
name.
Again, it just feels like a pervy fucking middle executive. Julia Cornwall. You know what I mean?
Oh my! I didn't even think about that, but fuck, tied
Uh-huh.
with everything else. You know what? Maybe.
Mhm. Yep. Look, I'm not. I assume pervy male executive now when it comes to Hollywood all the time.
Well, the other two characters, their names didn't change from their comic book counterparts, so why was it just her?
Because I don't know, man. This one had a thing for Sydney Sweeney. I don't know.
I think we all have a thing for Sydney Sweeney, but we also have self-control and some fucking dignity.
Most of us have that, not the public masturbator stuff.
Well, obviously, I mean, yeah, you can't argue that one. You're not going to win that one in court. Like,
Yeah.
you're a hunter. Look at the self. He's not jerking off right now.
This
Self-control.
look for all those people who are worrying. It's fine to think Sydney Sweeney is an attractive woman. She is. If you want to trick off her, maybe just do it in the privacy of your home. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's the only acceptable place to do that. Not at the movie theater, not at the bus station, not at Victoria's Secret. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah, just keep it to yourself. Like, dear God, I guarantee you, I promise you, she's not flattered to hear the news about public masturbation to
Oh,
her.
I'm glad no one's brought that up. Like, so what do you think about all those creeps jerking off to you at the movies? God. Um, okay, so I don't even remember where we were. She shows him how to do CPR, and that comes back later. They really focus on that. It's like some like in that moment, I'm like, she's gonna die later, isn't she?
Yeah, dude, the things they focus on in this movie, like Jesus Christ.
Hmm.
Like when she's racing to the diner and the only thing stopping her is that she just won't go around the log truck. I'm like, just go around the log truck. Just go around the truck.
Do you think that was an intended reference to Final Destination 2, another movie about precognition and with a big log truck?
If it was a shitty one to a much better film, a film I've watched more than once.
Yeah, that was the preview for Final Destination 2 and for Next. Nicolas Cage was part of the pre-show I saw at Draft House. Like they really
Oh.
wanted to hammer home like this is about precognition.
If me, I'd be like, let's show them the stuff they could watch instead, like the entire Final Destination. Hell, the Final Destination, the NASCAR one, the only one I despise, that's I think is a stupid fucking movie,
Hmm.
is better than this movie.
You know what? You know what I realized watching those two trailers as part of that pre-show? Movie trailers in the 2000s sucked ass. There was no effort put into them whatsoever. Like movie trailers are only really starting to get like cool and good and well made in like the 2010s.
You say that, but watch people watch like our kids watch them from back then, and be like, God, these trailers suck. They give away the whole movie.
That's well, there are those that do that, but there's also but it was like the in a world where this could happen. Like that was the trailer kind of norm in the 2000s, and that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, but I don't remember what the trailer for Final Destination 2 was like.
That
They really pull that, or were they like based off the smash hit original
yeah,
film?
like
We're back
death
for more.
death cannot be stopped. Like it was yeah, it was
And
bad.
this time it has a new ride.
Yeah. Ah, okay.
Final Destination 2 come to theater near you.
I've only seen the first one. I still haven't seen the sequels. I'll get to those eventually.
Oh, when you live with me, you will, you goddamn bastard. Oh,
That's considering the audience has no idea like our previous talks about that. Like it sounds like you just really weirdly threatened me.
I did.
Uh,
Also, real quick, before we get back to this,
yeah.
and that is one thing I do remember about 2000 shows, by the way, is that they didn't trust you to read. It'd be like Final Destination 2 coming to a theater near you, as it says it on the screen.
I missed that. Um, but there's some trailers I've like looked up, like like the Batman, for instance. I watch that trailer all the time because it's just a cool little fucking work of art.
I've look, I've watched the Deadpool Wolverine trailer alone way too many times already, so I get it.
Uh, so anyway, what's her name? Cassie realizes, oh, my mom knew this guy Sims back there, when she was researching spiders in the Amazon right
In
before she died.
Amazon, where she died. Because look, even though we don't get the line, she references that so many fucking times in this movie.
It is the clunkiest fucking dialogue ever, dude. Like it's not even funny. So she decides, oh, I got to go to Peru to figure this out, and they're all like, "Don't leave us. We can't help. We're helpless teenagers, even though they're not toddlers. Like grow a backbone and try."
Yeah. Also point out Ezekiel just can't find them this whole time because she went to Peru. That's not a quick, even 2003. This is after 9/11, folks. This is not a quick trip. All right.
This is soon after 9/11, so there's like it's pretty stringent at the airport. Um,
Yeah. I'm
and
like,
also, so they just didn't get in front of any kind of camera for that entire trip. They just stayed in the room.
yeah. I'm like,
Oh, no,
why
wait,
didn't you?
they got left with Ben.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The elephant, but still, I'm like,
Yeah,
this is what we're doing right now. We're going to Peru while they just stay with Ben and Ezekiel just
and
gives up looking for them.
she somehow just easily tracks down the exact spot in the fucking Amazon
Where
that
her mother was researching spiders before she died.
yes, thank you. But like
You're welcome.
you know how big the Amazon is? It's pretty big. Pretty big place.
Look, apparently it's very small.
I think it spans multiple countries. Like it's a pretty giant ass hunk of earth.
Look,
But if you
apparently based off this film, it's about 1 square acre.
if you just have a photograph of two people taken near some trees, you can easily find exactly the spot you need in the Amazon jungle. That really bothered me.
Yeah. All you gotta do is look at a picture and go like, I know the spot. The Amazon's like maybe 5 miles deep. That's it, apparently.
If she really wanted this to be 2003, she would have walked into that spot holding like a bunch of stapled pages of MapQuest directions.
They should have done just fucking gone all in and connected more universes. Anaconda's just there waiting.
Dude,
John Voight.
if this evolved into fucking Anaconda, this I would have enjoyed it more than what this was.
I would have laughed my ass off instead of the spider person waiting for her. It's John Voight with that terrible accent.
So you want to learn about your mom? I can help you. Oh God, he'll never live that down. Instead, actually, guy kind of looked like Don Johnson. I wonder if that was on purpose. But
Oh God.
he,
God.
yeah, he's there to be like, hey, I knew your mom and I helped her give birth to you, and then I killed her with a spider. So you want to talk?
Yeah. Also, I'm now really wearing regular clothes. You know, I could have done that in 1973, but it's 2003. We need you to know this.
Also, I have not aged in those 30 years. So,
So,
spider, I guess.
and I'm still the only member of this tribe.
Yeah. And she gets astral projected Doctor Strange style into the web, and she realizes, oh, my mom didn't hate me. She was trying to save me from a muscular disorder. That's why she was here.
In
Because the
the
whole time she's like,
Amazon.
why was she pregnant in the Amazon researching spiders before she died? If I wasn't supposed to be there. It's terrible. It's so terrible. And yeah, mom in the ether is like, my baby girl. And they hug, and Cassandra wakes up, clearly able to use her powers all the way now. And the most interesting man in the world gives her a Dos Equis, sends her on her way. And she goes back to America to help the three chicks
I
fight Ezekiel.
I want to know how she got that deep into the Amazon, how she got out, how she got a plane back,
Stay thirsty, Madam Web.
and apparently never changed clothes because she's wearing the same clothes the whole time. So this
I've
ideally took place within like a day.
I've flown to South America. It's not easy. There's a lot. It's a long flight. There's a lot. I had to change like three different planes. It's That's not a day. That's not a 2 hour trip. That's she'd be too tired to drive an ambulance. First of all, like I don't get. It's expensive too. Like that's oh yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the spirit of her mom who died in the Amazon looking for spiders helped her. I don't know.
I don't know. She, uh, Mary Mary's water breaks. They decide to drive to the hospital. Ben's a very responsible driver, and that pissed off Mary. And I was like, yeah, drive a little
Yes.
faster, guy.
Yeah. And honestly, Ben's response kind of like I've never seen someone have just a non-response to being told that the water has broke. Usually it's, oh shit, get in the car, we gotta get to the hospital.
Yeah.
This one he goes, oh, and that's about it. That's about the reaction we got out. And I'm like,
Uh,
we need some urgency here, man. The water broke. The
one
baby's on the way. Let's go.
one of them gets scanned by a traffic camera, and Amaria is like, "We got one," and presses the button, and Ezekiel jumps down the pole, Ghostbuster style, and goes after them.
You gonna
Uh,
call Ezekiel?
uh, so at this point, Cassandra, whose real power seems to be stealing public vehicles, steals an ambulance and drives it through a fucking billboard to somehow not land on Ben's car, but also hit Ezekiel. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Ben goes away because Ezekiel's like, not my fight. I don't need to kill you. Besides, you gotta be Peter Parker's uncle, or I'm sorry, secret baby Parker's uncle.
Secret baby daddy Parker's uncle. I don't know.
They all end up in a warehouse. She's able to duck and dodge and
Yeah, again,
duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
It's like,
Yeah,
I can't say that line. I almost said a really funny line, but I can't say that, can I?
no. Uh, but yeah, again, this is what I was talking about. We get the moment, like in any of these films, where we finally get the use of their power, and it's the lamest showcase of just watching her run, telling them stop, something happening, saying go. I'm watching red light, green light. That's her power.
For me, the worst part was when she like astral projected into like three and like helped them all, and Sims just watched it and did. And as soon as he punched her, like they all stopped. Like,
Dude,
what
yeah.
are you
And
waiting for?
they make it like a big moment, like we're supposed to be impressed
Yeah.
that she is doing this. So I'm like, this is stupid.
Yep. And Sims ends up crushed by a big S, Pepsi style.
A Pepsi, like God, the product placement in this fucking movie to make us know it's 2003. Jesus Christ.
In case you didn't know, brought to you by Pepsi.
Yes, I watched our main villain get crushed by a fucking ass in the Pepsi sign. That's 2024 superhero offering.
They all become close. They're still not Spider Women, but it's okay. They've got each other and they're all moving in together, I guess. I guess everyone was okay with that.
Yeah, because their parents, it's established early on the film that none of their parents are around. One of which I guess her dad got deported, which that was actually generally like her. If I was like, Jesus Christ, the movie, we're going to slam that on me.
Yeah, but
God
Sydney
damn.
Sweeney just has like her dad's kind of busy with her new family or with his new family and doesn't really want to talk to her. But that doesn't mean he'll be okay with her just moving in with some lady.
Yeah, apparently he was.
Apparently, also Madam Webb is blind and paralyzed from the accident and seems to be perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, and she starts talking cryptically, which was just pissing me off. I'm like, please stop. I don't know why the cryptic talk like that, like she does, has gotten more on my nerves in recent years.
Dude, when she's in the hospital and like, the baby, because they won't just say the name, is born and are like, "Oh, Ben's looking forward to being an uncle. All of the fun, none of the responsibility." And she goes, "That's what he thinks." Oh, winking to the
Yeah.
audience. And then like the camera pans over to like a grate that kind of looks like a web.
Yeah, God, dude, that you know what I blame?
Hmm.
I blame when I watch Game of Thrones and I kept having to listen to Bran say he's the three-eyed raven, and I was like, Bran, shut the fuck up. I After the fifth time, I get it. I understand what the fuck you are, buddy.
You realize that in like the last two or three episodes, the only lines that Kit Harington had as Jon Snow were, "I don't want it,"
I don't want it.
like 17 times.
Yeah, but I do want to sleep with my aunt. God damn it.
Well, he kind of didn't. I mean, once he found out
No,
she
he
was
didn't.
dead, he's like, "Oh no, I don't want that." But she's like, "Hey, it's cool.
Dude, she was all about it. She's like, that dick. Don't care.
Dragon Puss wants wolf dick. Don't care where it comes from."
Do not care. He had the actual response he should. Hey, after unfortunately they had already done the deed, and they're like, "Hey, by the way, dude, that's your aunt." He's like, "Oh God,"
Yeah.
and they tell her that's your nephew, and she goes, "Hot."
God.
Like, all right. But point is,
Yeah.
with that, ever since hearing Brand not shut about him being the three-eyed raven, cryptic talk in films like this just bugs me. I'm like, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck. It doesn't sound cool. You would just get on my nerves if you talked like that all the time. Be like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like saying, "Hi, how are you?" "Oh, I don't know. You tell me how I am." I'm gonna punch you in the face. How's that sound?
Then I'll know how you are.
Yeah. Let's see how
Uh,
you felt about that.
so she's now in a wheelchair and is like, "We're gonna live together and solve crimes or something." And I don't know who's paying the rent now because she can't be an EMT anymore.
No, also, quick thing. When they show her stupid little vision where she's in her little suit and they're in their suit and it's dumb.
Huh?
Did you see that apparently fans found out that one of those shots was from Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire?
Which shot?
When he goes up the building.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, apparently they just inserted Spider-Man 2 footage in there. I was like, interesting.
I feel like that moment in Harry Potter in the Deathly Hallows Part Two, where he's like, "How dare you stand where he stood?" Like, you don't deserve to put that good movie in your shitty movie. How dare you?
I know. I know. I was like, why would you do that? That was a good movie. I liked Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
It's the best one in that trilogy, you sons of bitches.
Oof. I don't. One and two are on pretty even ground for me. I don't know if I can make that decision.
Easy to the best one, with one just a tad behind it, like a tad.
It's a pretty big tad. Uh,
It's not a big tad. It's just a tad. It's like a smidge.
it's a drop, perhaps.
You're sounding stupid right now.
It's Defoe, man. That for me, like that's what wins me over with. I love one and two pretty equally, but some Defoe's performance as the Goblin sells one just a little bit more for me.
To me, it's two. It's just an overall better film. One's a really good movie. I just think two is an overall better film.
I agree. I agree. I love them both. I'm like, let's just agree that they're both great movies.
No, I'm not saying I do agree they're both great films. They're not Spider-Man 3, which is what's really important here.
Yeah, that movie. I watch. I love that this keeps coming up, but fuck it. I watched the editor's cut of Spider-Man 3.
God
And
damn
before you
you.
get mad at me,
Jesus.
it wasn't better. There was just more
Jesus.
of it. And there's some scenes that got moved around, which I thought was odd.
I'm
But
I'm t- I'm telling you right now, bring up my horror shit again. I'm gonna keep bringing this shit up. Go on.
I just watched it. I didn't love it. I just watched it. Relax. But yeah, it was interesting to see like certain scenes. I think like the where he goes to confront Harry in the like after he's the fight with Harry in the mansion where Harry gets like blasted with the bomb. That
Oh,
happened like after Eddie got fired in the producer's cut or the editor's cut. It was weird. Like it didn't flow as well, and I was like, why did they think this would be better?
I
There was a
don't
weird
know.
scene where Sandman became a sandcastle so he could talk to his daughter.
That's weird. Also, they're calling it the editor's cut, so is the editor in charge of this cut? Because it sounds like he didn't have good ideals.
I guess I don't know. The saving Spider-Man 3 requires a lot of reshuffling that frankly you can't do it. Oh, do you
You
have the
cannot. I got the 4K. I finally picked up the 4K of the original trilogy. I was wondering if it's on my 4K.
it might be.
Possibly. I'll find out one day.
I had to rent it on Vudu because I was curious. But anyway, Madam Web.
Yeah.
Uh, they're gonna be, web buddies and spider people eventually, and she's gonna tell them like, "Hey, go that way and not this way because you might get shot." Uh,
Yeah.
and then "Dreams" by the Cranberries plays over the end credits for some reason. So, there we go. That's Madam Web.
Don't put the fucking cranberries in your shitty film. How dare you?
Why are you involving them? Why'd you do?
Yeah.
Why,
Don't tarnish their goddamn legacy, you bastards.
you sons of bitches? No, but
B, B, B.
that was it. Yeah, I did not wish to linger. I didn't even look up if there was a post-credit scene. I just left.
I literally I did I that was the first time in a long time I pretty much just kind of like sped out of the theater. Like I quickly did a quick search. I was like, I have to at least look. I gotta be committed. If there is, I was like, good, there's no procrastinating in case anyone's wondering. I was like, good, there's not one. Sweet. Immediately put my phone in my pocket after that and got up and walked and like sped walked to my car. I sped to my home. I'm like, just get me home so I can watch something better. God damn it, I just wasted my Thursday night
For me, it was like just as a personal slight. I'm pretty sure like the first thing I did when I left was I went and I got a Coke.
just to prove a point.
Yeah, I don't want a Pepsi. I'm getting a Coke specifically because this movie tried to force Pepsi into my face, and I don't like Pepsi. Uh,
See, I prefer Pepsi over Coke,
I don't at all.
especially a Pepsi Wild Cherry. Pepsi Wild Cherry is where it's at.
I I do not. Pepsi tastes like Coke mixed with cough syrup. I don't care for it.
See, I've never been a Coke for person. Never been Coke. Coke cherry. Coke with cherry. I do fuck with that. Cherry Coke, that's what it's called. I fuck with that hard. That's really good.
Are you telling me Coke with cherry is called cherry Coke? That's
Well,
crazy.
sometimes they call it, with cherry, you asshole. Or like Sprite, I think it's called Sprite cherry or some shit. They name it all different. I just forgot what the cherry was placed in the title.
I think Coke products outperform Pepsi product like their Pepsi equivalent in every way. Sprite's better than Starry. The fucking
Yeah, that's fair. I'll give you that.
yeah. Well, Pib is the one outlier. Pib can go fuck itself. But
Especially if you say Pib is better,
Pib is not bad. You know where I
I'm
stand on
not the
Doctor.
person to say that to.
You know where I stand on the Good Doctor. You know I have no problem with that soda.
I know that's what's right. You know you should not have a problem with that soda around me. No offense, Austin.
I have never seen you drink anything but Dr. Pepper. I'm actually surprised you're alive.
I'm surprised too.
I've never seen you get proper nutrition ever.
We don't need to talk about that.
All right, that's Madam Web. Don't bother. Go see Bob Marley if you want to go see something good this week. Next weekend is Drive Away Dolls, the new heist comedy or road comedy from one half of the Coen brothers. Uh, we might talk that one. We'll see. But if you don't hear first thoughts of from there, you will hear it for Dune Part 2 the following weekend. Uh,
Not from me.
not
From
from
someone
him.
else.
Yeah, he doesn't. He does not. He does not pursue the Kwisatz Haderach. He does not.
I'm not a Dune person. Just stop it.
Yeah, I'm
I'm not,
trying. I'm trying to recall. It's not. It's. I'm reading the book right now, and it's not. It's not sticking. I gotta say. I'm trying here.
yeah, I'm just not. Okay, I've tried the first one with Disney's first film. It just wasn't my cup of tea. I'm not a Dune person. I'm getting dragged by Josh to go see the Lynch one in theaters. I really don't want to, but it's happening.
I'm doing, yeah. I'll I won't reveal that yet, but yeah, Dune is going to be a big deal on this show in the next couple weeks. Uh,
God damn it!
you knew that. You're not
It's so
involved, but you care.
I would protest if I was.
You're protesting even though you're not, which is
Yeah,
kind of weird.
exactly. I have to stay consistent.
I apparently you do. This week we got Snowpiercer on the main show. That'll be exciting. Looking forward to talking about that awesome movie. And yeah, take it easy. Hopefully Sony wakes the fuck up and maybe tries a little hard. Just a little bit. That's all we're asking. You're not going to make a masterpiece, but make something
If
watchable for once.
God, I'm look after the trailer for Craven, unless they've like spent the delay trying to like re-edit or some shit, I doubt that's gonna be any good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just the idea of like the angle they're taking from the trailer just goes against everything I thought that character was in the comic. So right from there, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to enjoy this.
Yeah,
So
I'll watch it, but god damn it.
yeah, we'll do this basically this exact episode again when Grave and the Hunter comes out. I have a feeling we're going to have exactly the same thoughts, same conversation, same problems. So, we'll see.
Yeah, just hopefully this time I won't be talking to a void. I'll
Yeah,
have a
my
working
camera
look.
still doesn't work. So yeah, the conversation's totally manageable and absolutely fine, at least on my end.
It's it feels very one-sided, at least on my end. I just hear a voice coming out of dark.
You must not make a lot of phone calls.
I don't. I actually really hate when my phone starts to ring.
Me too. It's usually bad news. Uh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, don't bother with Madam Web. Like I said, go see Bob Marley if you want to see something, or go see Argyle again, or Lisa Frankenstein. Maybe give that a shot.
Go
But
see Lisa Frankenstein. Go see that one.
yeah, Madam Web ain't your cup of tea. I don't know who the hell this is for, but I don't want to meet him. So with that, we'll see you next time.